Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Dragonball Legends. And today is finally the day we finally beat all of the stupid challenge rushes, so we don't need to worry about that crap anymore. So, this video, I guarantee there's going to be people who disagree with what I'm about to say. Everything that I'm about to say is my own personal opinion and beliefs. And, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's going to agree with every single person. It doesn't matter whether you're the best Dragon Ball Legends player in the world or the worst. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on these units, but we're going to go over my personal tier list for all 5 of the new Sparkings that were added in the Year 2 anniversary. Normally, I would start at the bottom and go to the top, but I'm pretty sure 95% of the player base knows who is number 1. This unit, I don't think anybody in their right mind would probably disagree with. There might be some people that are like, whoa, I don't like him, I think he's garbage, and that's fine. Like I said, it's your personal opinion, but this guy, there is nothing bad about this unit. I have used this unit nonstop since I got him. He does everything you could want and more. I mean, he's that good. He really is. Like, I can't even put into words how good he is. He does damage. He tanks. He has amazing main ability that heals him and increases his damage, and then it releases the final Kamehameha, or final impact rush, I think is what it's called when he actually gets the LF. It is so stupid how good they made this guy. His green card in certain events is actually one of the best green cards in the game. I think there is one other character, I don't know who it is off the top of my head, that actually removes the buffs like he does, but they do it 3 times instead of twice. But that's whatever. I mean, that's literally adding stuff on top of his already ridiculous kit. I mean, we can just look at some of these stupid abilities. That's Soul Boost, that's not where I meant to go. He does everything. Like, there it is. 50% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 30%, nullifies attribute nullifies attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for 15 counts, knocks back enemy to long range if a cover change is performed against their blast arts. Like, they gave him everything. Like, it's stupid. And then if you're up against a fusion warrior, you get even more damage. And then, on top of this, depending on what you are up against, he then makes himself fight that unit perfectly. I can't even tell you how good this unit is. He not only is he the number 1 Sparking, but he's the number 1 unit in the game, 100%. He's not just the best new unit, he's the best unit. He is good against everything. He counters healing as well. So tag regeneration and tag fusion warrior, if you're using anything that uses that tag, he will destroy them. He is so good. He, as far as I know, currently only has 1 counter in the game, and that is the LF Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, just because that Vegeta does increase damage to God Key. But like, he's so good. He's so good. Anybody who doesn't have him, I genuinely feel for you, because he's groundbreaking. Like, this unit is a sign of things to come. Like, how are they going to make this even better next year? We'll have to see. But this guy may be the top unit until next anniversary, unless like Christmas or something, or if there's like a so odd million download celebration. If it's like Dokkan, those are the only 2 celebrations that ever released these units that were just like, what in the world? Why are they so stupid? So number 1, Vegito Blue. I can't even. I really can't. Number 2, and this is another one that a lot of people agree. They're like, yeah, he's probably the second best, is this guy, Fusion Zamasu. When you have a unit that the longer a fight lasts, the better they get, you already know that they're going to be strong in this game, because you could have him sit on your bench until, I think it's like 30 timer counts, and he then has all of his buffs active. And these buffs, I mean, they are no joke. So, it's 50. Not the 50 isn't even that great, to be honest. It's really, the 15 is really where you already just 40% increased damage inflicted. I mean, this is the only thing. Like, you can't go up against another Zamasu or Goku Black, or he then does less damage. But it's only blast damage, and that's not that big of a deal in my opinion. It doesn't take away from how good he is. I mean, you're still looking at a 10% increased damage no matter what. So at the end of the day, this guy can still fight them just fine. And then there's this. Then he gradually restores his health each timer count for 30 counts. So he heals himself 30 times, and for every attack he gets hit for, he then can raise his attack by up to 80%, and then reduces damage received by 40% until combo ends when changing cover. And he counters strike arts in a cover change. So, I mean, this guy is so good. I love using this unit. I think his attacks are cool. His aura is cool. I mean, he counters with this. He restores his own health by 20% and ki by 40, which, I mean, is ridiculous. But he makes it to where if an enemy has sustained damage cut effect, it's removed. Like 100%. They can't do anything. It's so good. And then this in PvP, I haven't gone into PvP yet. I will be honest. I can just tell you by looking at a card that it's stupid. Because one, this attack cannot miss. Because it can't miss. You activate it and it happens. It reduces the enemy ki by 40 and then applies any of the 2 to himself. Restores his by 40. So in essence, you could siphon off 40 ki. And you don't have to hit it. It just activates. It's ridiculous. 20% blast damage inflicted for 20 counts and nullifies attribute downgrades for 20 counts. I mean, that green card is stupidly good. I mean, like, it's so stupid. Like, and then his ultimate ability, it applies the effect based on how many enemy battle members are left. If there are 3, he gets 30% increased. If there are 2, he gets 50%. And if it's the last unit, if they are a green unit, this will one-shot them. Like 70% ultimate damage inflict. That is a one-shot. That is so much damage that you are getting. It's so stupid. Like this guy. If you don't get Vegito Blue, but you get this guy, that's still a W. He is very, very good. I've been really impressed with his performance. I went into this thinking that actually the Trunks was going to sit here, and this Zamasu has just absolutely been a menace. If you've watched any of my prior videos in the challenge rush, he and Vegito Blue were the 2 that made huge differences. And then, of course, at number 3, which I will cover in just a second, he was the other one that I was really impressed with in the challenge rush. And that's mostly what I'm going off of, because, I mean, if you're just doing random stages, all these units are going to be able to beat those events pretty easily. But the challenge rushes, I mean, they're getting buff stats, don't get me wrong, but just in general, their kits are so good. I love these 2, and not to mention, they're actually on 3 teams. My bad, 3 teams together, which is another thing that I had to put into consideration. I'm not even going to go over Vegito Blue's tags because all of his are, I mean, basically these are the same here, except that this guy has regeneration, and then I think Vegito has like Saiyan or something like that, but their tags, just best tags in the game. I mean, it's ridiculous. They really did outdo themselves with those 2. Number 3. Now, the funny thing is about this unit, I actually had him at number 5. And I moved him up after doing the challenge rushes with him because I realized he's actually a lot better than I originally gave him credit for. And that is Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Goku. I'm going to call him how it should be, which is Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This guy is actually really, really good. And when I first looked at his kit, I was really unimpressed. I'm like, okay, so he does damage, but that's about it. When you switch him onto the field, you can continue a combo chain for ridiculous combos. If you do Vegito Blue into this guy, you will terrorize whoever you're up against. Now, the only weakness is, of course, that you might have to wait for cards to be drawn. But if you're just looking like, oh, okay, I have, let's say, 3 blast cards and a blue card, I'm not going to be able to get the key for this. If you switch into this guy, he restores a 50 key, I'm pretty sure. Which is, yeah, yep. If there is a tag Saiyan battle member other than him. So, yeah, if you're using the GT team, which is his main team, obviously, you have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the normal one. And so it's so good how good he is on that team. And then he also reduces damage received by 45% for 10 timer counts. That's huge. That is. When I was originally talking about this guy, I was like, yeah, he's a damage dealer, nothing else. That gives him tank ability for, long enough for you can put him in, as soon as it ends, switch him out. Like, this guy, if you manage your switches right, is insane. And then, also applies the following effects to self. When this character uses a blast attack, he increases his damage by 25% for 15 timer counts. So he is definitely a ranged type, and they made it pay off for him. And then also when he enters the battlefield, and this is like this one up here, you have to have a tag Saiyan, and then he applies it when he enters the battlefield. This happens no matter what. He draws a blast arts card guaranteed, 15% damage inflicted, and 20% blast damage inflicted. So he's very good. How they made all of his stuff linked together really well. His only thing that I absolutely despise with a passion is the fact that they don't give him a second tag. At least at Z Ability 2. I can't speak for Z Ability 3. If they do at Z Ability 3, I can tell you this, it would definitely make him a little bit better. But he's still great. It's ridiculous how good they made him. Then he has the green card, which restores his own ki by 30, so even more ki restoration. And then 20% impact damage received for 30 counts. And if you see here, you can combo every single attack that he has. All of them can combo into this, so it's really good. And then also you get blast armor when using it, which is just a little added cherry on top. The Unleashed Super Dragon Fist restores his own health by 40%. Not to mention, if you look here, 20% impact damage. This does massive impact damage. So it's stupid how... And this one also does. Like, his kit is really, really good. And I'm really sorry that I doubted him for a while, but like... Even this one, this one you could almost argue is actually better than the ultimate one, other than the healing aspect. I don't think anything beats that, but you get 20% damage inflicted for 10 timer counts upon activation. You do destroy your own blast cards. Increases special move damage inflicted based on how much you destroy. So if you destroy 3, you get 100% increase to special move damage. What? That is ridiculous. So you get 120%, and then if you have this active, you get 140%, and that's just from using those two. Now, obviously, that's a very situational thing, but you're going to look at, most of the time, you're going to have at least one. So, you're looking at 60% increased damage just for that. It's so crazy to me, but this is definitely where I feel like they fell flat on. He only has 4 tags. Saiyan, GT, Sun Family, and Super Saiyan 4. None of those are bad tags, except for Super Saiyan 4. They don't have a lead for that. But you're limiting him, whereas Vegito Blue and Merge Zamasu have so many tags, and they're all great tags. Like, these are good tags. Saiyan, Sun Family, they're good tags. They're usable. If you have an optimal team, they could probably be pretty formidable. But, right now, GT, Future, God Key... all of those, Fusion Warrior, Regeneration, those are all teams that are going to be running rampant right now, so that is the only thing that I have like a complaint about him, but he's very good. Number 4 is the Trunks. This Trunks right here. When I first saw that they were releasing a defensive-based unit, I was excited because I was like, this is going to make hard events so much better. The only problem is that he's not as tanky as I thought he was going to be, and I think it really, really shows when you're getting hit by somebody in, say, the challenge rush. if you are up against a purple enemy in Challenge Rush and they hit him with an ultimate art, he still does get one shot if they have any sort of buffs on them. Now, that being said, if that target is I believe it is a regeneration or God key. So actually, it's not even based on what he goes up against. He just stacks the thing. So, but he does more damage inflicted against them. But I'm going to be honest, I've used him several times, and his damage has not been anything that has really shown up for me when I needed it most. So yeah, if you're up against like Merge Zamasu, who I think is the only character that has, well, and Normal Zamasu has those two tags, you'll get 40% increased damage, which is nice. He reduces the damage received by 20% when he enters, and then an additional 30% until combo ends when changing cover. And then he also shortens his own substitution count by 10 when enemy activates Rising Rush, which that is pretty good if you're not cycled into it. That's the problem. If you're cycled into it, it really doesn't mean anything. While he's on the battlefield, the following effects occur every time when hit with pretty much anything. Up to 60% damage inflicted. He gets it each time, 10%. 10% damage inflicted by allied tag future or tag Vegeta. Tag Vegeta family for 25 counts, rather. And then draw a special arts card next. Activates only once. So, I mean, he's alright, and then you get a plus 20% damage inflicted every time another battle member is hit. So, you would think that he would do a lot of damage, but I will be honest, it never really seems to show up for me. They did do him really well with his Z ability, though. I mean, at Z ability 3, 28% blast attack and defense to 2 different tags. It's very good. When you do this is where you will start to at least see a little bit of damage and some tankiness, is when he activates this. But, I mean, this one is okay too. He restores his own ki when he uses a blast. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade +2 to substitution count. Nothing too crazy there. This is what probably is his best thing about him, is the restores his own health by 15% and cancels downgrades and increases his damage. So that one is really good. That one is really good, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every time I use them, I seem to have 2 of them. Oh, right, because of the... Yeah, because of this one. Yep. So, it's good, don't get me wrong. It's very good. And then there's this one. This one, the only thing that's really good about it is... Well, I mean, both of those are pretty good, but he doesn't, like, increase his damage when he uses it, which is what the other units have that help. However, the one thing that they did do, another thing that I'm not too keen on, is the fact that they, once again, tags are... Super Saiyan is not great. Hybrid Saiyan is pretty good, and Vegeta family is pretty good, but Future is the only one on there that I'm like, yeah, this is a top-tier team right now. So he's good. Like I said, every single one of these units is either top tier or right below top tier. Like, none of them are bad, so don't be bummed, oh, I didn't get the best one. It doesn't matter that you didn't get the best one. This guy's still great, 100%. He's still amazing. It's just, when comparing them all side by side, obviously there have to be some stronger and some weaker, and I feel like he was one, and of course then number 5, which by process of elimination, if I can find him, has to be Omega Shenron. And these last 2 are still great, but this guy especially, I actually originally had at number 4, I had the Trunks at number 3, and I had Goku at number 5. This guy, I had to move him down. He's been too inconsistent for me. And this is the thing that I was this is what I was talking about right here. This on paper sounds amazing, except for the fact that no matter how many times I seem to hit people in certain stages, they do not get debuffed. Or if they do, they get one of the ones that, like, Strong Poison and Heavy Bleed, if you stack them on top of each other, can be good. But without Paralyze, I mean, this unit is He just can't have the survivability. The Paralyze helps him out so much. And then, like, if you do this, if you get these, it's great. Don't get me wrong, you're increasing it. But you're still relying on RNG for this guy to be at his max potential, and that's what hurts him. The others don't need RNG. They're purely based on this is what their abilities do. This is what it's. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. When he enters the battlefield, he gets. I mean, you can get up to 100% damage inflicted, but his damage is not the problem, and he can tank okay. He's not made to tank. His damage is really good. He restores his ki by 30 when he uses his main ability, 30% damage inflicted. And this one is actually really good because you do 50% increased ultimate damage, and you also hit everybody on standby. It's very, very good. If it could cause them to be defeated, this would be an amazing ultimate move. That's the only weakness it has, which isn't that big of a deal. I don't think there's anything that can do that in the game as of right now, so it's not a big deal. But that one, Gigantic Blaze, is good. They take 20% increased damage, and you can combo it. The only problem is that this is only usable in very limited situations, so you have to be smart when you use it. It doesn't hit at max range, so if they're hitting you with a blast skill, it's not going to work. You have to either time a strike skill, have them dodge and you use it, or you dodge and hit them with it. There's really no other way for you to do it. Karma Ball, 30% special move, awakened and ultimate damage inflicted by all allies. This is pretty good. It gives them some support. But it's just not enough to make up for. If you're not using an ultimate move, you really just aren't getting his max effectiveness, and it's because he is Glass Cannon. I mean, he does a lot of damage. He takes just as much, so you have to be careful how you use them. Tags, Regeneration, GT, Fusion Warrior, all of those are amazing. Powerful Opponent is really good if you have the Zamasu. So he does partner with the Zamasu, which is really nice. Because the Goku, at the end of the day, the Goku only partners with the Goku, and I really don't like that that's how they did that. I really wish they would have made it to where you could use him with somebody other than Omega, but you can't use him with Fusion Zamasu, you can't use him with Vegito Blue, so it is a little bit of a struggle there. His Z ability is great. Base strike attack up 21% for GT and Regeneration. 2 really good tags. Very good. And then at 3, you get 28% to strike attack and defense. I mean, he's on paper, he's so good, just like all of these units, until you realize that the RNG is really, really bringing him down. And it's really sad, too, because if they would have given him something else that wouldn't have relied on RNG, you could definitely make the argument for number 4 and even maybe possibly number 3, but where everybody else has all of these special skills that just make them so good, he falls off. Keep in mind, as I have said, this does not mean he's bad. This guy is still ridiculously good. I can use him in pretty much anything and everything, and he will at least be able to perform effectively. Doesn't matter what it is. Even in the challenge rushes, he was able to do a lot for me. It's just, when you compare him to the other 4, he wasn't doing as much, and that's what really lets me down, because I was really excited for an Omega, and they just didn't execute him the way I think he should have been done, or the way I would have wanted him done, at least. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the 5 new units. Of course, if you have them and you don't want to just take my word for it, go out and test them. Let me know what you think. If you think that I should have mixed up the numbers, and I'm sure 1 and 2 to me, nobody's going to change my mind that number 1 and 2 can be interchanged in any way, shape, or form. Vegito Blue is going to be number 1. Fusion Zamasu is going to be number 2. The other 3, I probably could hear some arguments for where people are like, oh, well, I'd rather use this. And there are situations where I'd rather use some of them. But at the end of the day, they are where I put them for my own personal reasons, ways I've used them, the way I like to use them. That is how I place them in that tier list. So, number 1, Vegito Blue. Number 2, Fusion Zamasu. Number 3, Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Number 4, I don't know why I lost count there, Trunks. And number 5, Omega Shenron. So, But yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful in some way, shape, or form. I hope to see you guys in the next one. This is Miraculous Transcendence signing off, and I will catch you guys later. Later, guys.